Good evening. Welcome to the Sharmark Show. I am your host, Sharmark, and I have a very important lady here, Miss Sarah Joseph. Good evening.
Hi.
I know you may be saying, "Oh, please make him get my name."
Yes. But you got it. You got it. So
Mrs.
kudos
Joseph,
on that.
tell us, what are you into?
I am a neuro-coach, so I use neuroscience backed techniques to help people overcome mental blocks. So, like overthinking, procrastination, self doubt, low self confidence.
Wow,
If
that's
you,
a lot.
yes,
Now, one of the things you said, I think overthinking, sometimes I do it. I think, is it that sometimes you're in a relationship and you're saying, I wonder how you feel about that text I sent him? That's overthinking, right?
yes, it's
Something
almost
like
like
that.
how to send hey. Should I send hey with two Y's, three
Yes,
Y's,
yes, like
one
that.
Y? Yes.
So you kind of doubt in yourself. You sending a message, but you want to figure out how the person is going to take it.
Yes.
Instead, you just let it, send it, and then sit back and enjoy the process.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
sometimes I say, stop overthinking, Jamak. It happens a lot. I do it a lot. Sometimes I get talking alone. I hold my overthinking, and I creating a whole scenario in my mind.
Now it's very easy to do that. You know why? Because we have 60,000 thoughts a day, Shamak. 60,000.
I believe. You know why I believe you? Sometimes I drive and the weirdest thing come to mind. I say, but let's say I say, but why are you thinking of that? I'm not into construction. Why am
Yes.
you think of the weirdest things,
Yes,
even sometimes you think of
60.
evil things, and then I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Because they're like, why do you just think, especially if you just done your mind working overtime?
Yes.
Now what happens a lot, Sarah, is when I get home, it's like my mind backtracking. It's like a cinema. Everything I did for the day. And I said, oh my God, I was supposed to send Sarah an email. I did not.
Right.
So, and sometimes it's a good thing because if I got it backtracked, I realize I did not send you the email.
Yes.
But the overthinking is a big thing.
It
And I
is.
think it affects. Is it a bad thing?
Yes, in the essence of it, if it's keeping you stuck. So if you're not able to like take any action and you feel like you keep hitting that rut or repeating a cycle, it's a problem then that you cannot actually break through. That's when it becomes a problem.
Oh, wow. So with all of those things you said there, how do you give out that information to the public? Do you do conferences? Do you do workshops? How do you?
Well, I use social media for now because I realize that's what everybody is using. Yes, that's
social media is very effective. Yes,
very, very effective. So I usually get my clients through social media, but I also do workshops for employers to offer services for customer service, emotional intelligence, and I still tie in the life factor to that because I look at things holistically, and I believe that success starts in the mind, regardless of if you're an employer or you're just a stay-at-home mom.
yes.
There are still things and personal goals that you have. I think everybody has goals.
I
Doesn't
think
matter,
I
yeah.
believe you when you said it starts in the mind, because even for me as an event planner, before I get to the site, I've already project
visualize.
how I say I have a photography. I see the whole event in my head. It's like I create a blueprint, so I already know how I want the event to come out. I can take out a palm tree there from my mind and do all of that. And sometimes it's so beautiful how I can just place everything in my mind. And then my staff asks me, Mr. Leon, how do you do that? It's just something I don't know I developed over the years.
No, that's actually a good superpower because it's what you're actually doing is called visualization.
Yes.
And it's almost like you picture it happening already in your mind.
Yes.
So then when you get to there, you execute effortlessly.
Yeah. I mean, even when I had my modeling agency, we did not even do the audition. My mind ran an audition, launched the street fashion show, how many designers I had, and it just worked out. The same thing at that time. I was with Michelle and it was called C Definition. And the whole thing, I was like, what? They say, no, it's not going to. I say no. And then sometimes people don't understand that. And they're thinking that you want to do it by yourself or you think you know it all. But the vision is already there. And I'm so excited to just take that blueprint from my head and actually put it out there. So it's funny you saying that, and it happens a lot. I do it all the time.
But actually, that is your secret weapon, to your success. The fact that you can visualize, because in your mind already you foresee it, so it's easy for you to execute it.
Yeah,
So
because
you
it
have
helps.
you have a skill.
It helps a lot, especially when I do a site visit and the client says, I'm looking to this, I'm listening. I was like, okay, where's she going? You have to let the person speak and listen.
Right.
And I just take it and I just put it into paper. I put it into just that whole design. Sometimes I wish I had a button I could have just press print. Because it is so real sometimes. Sometimes it happening. I'm not in bed and I jump on this and I say, oh my God. Sometimes I try to do a little sketch because I think I might forget it because sometimes it comes so strong.
Right.
Or I'll call my assistant so that I'll just narrate it. So I say, please remind me of so and so, or you'll try to type it or something like that. So you remember.
That's
Yes.
that's your superpower. That's it
Nice.
right
Yeah.
there.
So
And cling on to that. Don't ever drop it. So it is
I'll
not
try my best.
everybody else might not understand it, but that's fine. But that's your
Yeah.
superpower
So
there.
how do you reach out to the young people? Have you ever done anything with the schools?
I haven't actually done the schools. I've done some self-confidence workshops with the teen
I think that's
pageants.
so powerful, self-confidence.
Yes.
Because I think most times people doubt themselves. I walk into the
Yes.
pageant and I see Sarah. I say, that girl, she's really nice.
Yes,
And
and
the
you
shoes
figure your
just nice,
shoes.
like Sarah Pasamashi. And it's me that can walk. You understand? And you just let Sarah's shoes just affect you.
Yes.
And women do that all the time. People do that at school.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
all what you say, Nay, how does that help with a child or somebody that has been bullied at school?
I actually deal with some teens right now. I do also coach adolescents, and they're like 13, 14, and they're already struggling with self-confidence, and they get bullying at school. And we do a lot of empowering exercises, and we build your self-belief because confidence is a muscle. Just like how you go to the gym and you work out, you can become, it's not a personality trait, and some people born confident, some are not.
No.
You can build and become confident.
I think so. Because
Yeah.
for me, growing up, Sarah, I used to think that people used to put in your head and call you names, all sorts of names, and you figure you is poor. But in my mind, my blueprint working, and I done saying, like I told people, event planning shows me. If you question my mom now, Sarah, she's going to tell you, my mother say, "Dear man, mama, can just decorate by moon." Because I say, buy the decorations, I'll do it for
I'll
you.
do it for you,
My
right?
sister, no money because I'm just feeling satisfied the way.
Yes.
And all the years I did not know there was nothing called event planning.
Are you serious?
I used to do Valmont show windows. Let me tell you, people used to come out from left, right, and center to come and look at the show windows. So it was a natural thing.
Yes.
So I say designing chose me, event planning chose me. I never say I wanted to be no event planner. It's afterwards when I realized the kind of money that's in that, I say no.
Oh, yeah.
I need to master
And
it
you have
and
the
then make it a
talent
business.
already.
But we'll be right back, and then Sarah looks like things getting hot over here. Welcome back. Sarah,
Yes.
Mrs. Joseph, tell us, how did you get into, what inspired you to get into this line of
Helping others coaching.
helping others coaching?
Well, to be honest, I was always the go-to person in my circle. I was always the advisor. I would help strangers. You know, sometimes you go a place, you're in the bathroom, you see somebody with a situation.
You take over.
And not even necessarily take over, you know. I don't know if it's I think the best way to say it is a gravitation thing. They would start speaking to me and then just literally open up.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's never been hard for me to get people to open up.
Now, as you said, open up. Once somebody open up for you, do you have that skill for that level of confidentiality that if somebody open up to you, feel that it stays with you? Because I think
Yes.
that's one of the problem in his life coach and counseling.
Yes,
I
yes.
think they
And
use
to
your
be
business and they
honest,
gossiping over popcorn with it,
yes,
and which
yes,
kind of
yes.
send you back from where you started, because I started getting comfortable because I was opening up with my life coach.
Right.
And my life coach started using my business as
Yes,
gossip, and
as
you're hearing your
gossip.
stuff on the streets. And it's like at that time you feel like you just fit yourself back in a crab hole, and I don't think that's. I think mental wellness is such a huge thing, and people don't realize how serious it is. As long as we don't experience it in somebody in our family or ourselves, and it's so sad that you have to experience something to know how dangerous it is to a human being.
Yeah, because you see, they see mental illness as always a case of somebody has some kind of issues going on. But then something as a simple struggle, because how I got into it, I was going through my own life struggles and I got counseling. I was very open about that. I got counseling, and
How many years were you struggling?
I got counseling for actually a couple of months.
Okay.
And after that, I felt better, but I still didn't feel like I knew where I was going next. I still felt stuck. I was like, okay, so what happens now? Where do I go? What do I do? I know I always wanted to serve others, and how do I do that? And I started to share my story, blogging. I started blogging online. I had people telling me, girl, nobody doesn't read anymore. Reading is an old time
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
And I still felt like I have something to say. I will
Yeah.
connect with
Somebody,
somebody.
yes, yeah.
So I started to blog, and then also I stumbled upon Tony Robbins, who is a big time success coach, life coach. And I saw his video on YouTube, and I was like, what does this man do?
Yeah.
And then I felt like he was speaking to me, and what he was saying, I was like, I like that. So that's when I found out. So that wasn't until like 2019 when I found
Yeah.
out what a life coach
Yeah.
was.
And it's funny, the keyword here is life coach. And to be honest, when I heard that, me and my big mouth, when used to hear people saying I'm a life coach, I'm like, you have your life. Why you want to life coach
Yes,
somebody else? You know,
yes.
I'm like that. But when I dip into it and research, I realize some people will live in that a life, but we need a little guidance.
Yes.
They have people, they're so talented, so educated, and they're just so confused. They do not know if they want to be a doctor, a lawyer, and stuff like that. So sometimes you may be in the life coach to help you make the decision and tell you why do you need to go to that direction and stuff like that.
What I do. Backed by neuroscience, your body's reaction to an emotion fades within 90 seconds. However, if that emotion is not processed or it is suppressed, it can stay in your body for up to 7 years. That's why emotional pain can manifest as physical pain. So emotionally you're hurting, and all of a sudden you have a headache, you have behind your neck is hurting, your chest is hurting, your back is hurting. Emotional health should be part of your top priority, not just your physical health. Your mind and your body is one. The degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth that they can accept about themselves without running away. Whatever story that we tell ourselves over and over again with enough certainty, we will believe it, whether it's a good story or a bad story. It is time to change your story. Burnout is not a badge of honor. I also help you identify some self-sabotaging habits, because we have that. So it's more than just so many different options. I don't know what path to take. Sometimes things are good and we mess it up.
Yes.
We mess it up. So it's tied back to something about what we believe about ourselves.
So basically, a life coach is basically helping you get in touch with a better version of yourself.
Yes.
I think for me, growing up, sir, one of the things I think maybe because I was bullied as a child, you had created that wall.
Yes.
So if you are telling me, wink, I'm raising all the ghosts, you have to call Ghostbusters from the cemetery, because I was very defensive and I always think somebody was coming at me.
Yes.
But then now I realize I don't want you to like me or anything like that. I just need you to respect me, because now I know my purpose.
Yes.
I know where I stand. You try to be a better version of yourself, because you learn stuff. I mean, like, even when I started as an event planner, you learn a lot from your clients, because they say, Sharmark, I think they're missing a little pink. Now, when you tell me that, before say, I'm giving you me point, I'm giving you back your money.
Because it's not you to tell me what to do,
exactly.
right?
But then you realize people have opinions, and I met this lady and she said, Sharmark, not everything people say you have to take it, but sometimes you can put it in something and sift it. So if it stays up, that means you give it a try. And when I try the things, you're looking so good. I'm more dangerous. I still charge you.
But you see, the wall you did was a trauma response. Yes. And you build that block. But thankfully, you were able to break it down and allow some things to come through.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be very difficult where you create that comfort space and it's so tight, like you feel like you're in a bubble, you're happy, and then you pretend you're happy, but you're not.
Yes, but you're not. You're not allowing anybody in. Also, sometimes you hear people say, I have to do this on my own. So if I don't do it, it doesn't get done. That's a trauma response, because you realize probably in the past you're relying on somebody else and it didn't come through.
Yes, yes.
So to avoid the disappointments, the frustration,
I say that most times, because as an event planner, sometimes you hire the guys, they don't show up, and sometimes the stuff so heavy you have to do it on your own.
Yes.
And you can get help, you can pay somebody else, but I just create that way. I say, you know what, Sharmark, you'll do it on your own. It's your business, and the client is depending on you.
Yes.
I will do it on my own, and you will get it done, You'll be tired like a donkey afterwards.
Exactly,
You understand?
exactly,
So if you can
exactly.
avoid that, and you saying that, it's something I'll try to break that habit and get help when it's needed.
Yes,
And
when
don't
it's
put
needed, not all the
yeah.
time, because of course we are self-sufficient. We can
Yes.
afford to do that, but there's moments where we can, and it's that response that we have due to past experiences. And a lot of us have our traumas leading our ankles. So you see how you had the mental block for a while. That trauma, you had that as that was what that was staying your ship, not your dreams, not your goals,
Yes,
but your
yeah.
trauma. So there's
Yeah.
different things that drives everybody to do
Yeah.
the things that they do.
Now, funny enough, you said that. One thing I like to touch, how can you help with some parents that has their own childhood trauma that
Yes.
they have not sorted out as yet,
Mhm.
but now you are a parent and you cannot even give that child the love, that connection
Right,
the
right.
child needs to grow up to be from a child to a teenager and then to fit into society. How does that balance? How does that work? How can you assist somebody like that?
Well, you see, the difference between coaching and therapy is for coaching, you have to be willing. You have to realize that you have an issue and you want some
And you have
help.
to accept it.
Yes, a lot of people are
If you're in
not.
denial,
It
it wouldn't
wouldn't work
work.
because for coaching, we don't sit and talk about your feelings. No offense to that. But
Yeah.
apart from just having conversation, I use techniques and activities and exercises. So you do the legwork. Now, in order for you to do that, you have to be present for you.
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
those parents have to accept, which is, I think, the hardest part, and realize, okay, I deserve this and I need to process this in order
Yeah.
for me to be the best parent for my
And I
child.
think it's so strong because sometimes you hear some parents, they embarrass children in public. And I'm
Yes.
totally against that. Of
Me
course, it's
too.
your child. Yes, you carry that child for 9 months, but you're creating a monster.
I don't like, you see, the public embarrassment. I get
It's not going to make the child be a better
any
child
better.
any
No.
better. No. You're going to get that child so angry.
Yes.
You understand? We're going to go into commercial and we'll be right back. Sorry, Sarah has me going overboard. It's so interesting. Welcome back. I'm your host, Sharmark Leon, and I have with me Sarah Joseph, Mrs. Sarah Joseph.
Yes.
Sarah have a big rock on her hands, mistress. Watch how she laughing, people. Sarah is a wiper. Miss Joseph, tell us.
Yes.
What is the difference between a life coach and a counselor?
Coaching is supposed to be action based. So counseling focuses, I know, a lot of talk therapy, and coaching is more results driven.
Okay.
So more activities and action stuff that will get you to get done.
So as a life coach, let's say you have a client, you're meeting with the person. Do you write reports, take notes to keep track of
Yes.
the person improvement and
Yes,
stuff like
we
that?
do. We do.
Yeah.
And also when we start, one of the first things we do is a clarity exercise to help
Meaning?
you understand what exactly it is that you want.
Okay.
Because no two persons want the same thing.
Definitely.
So you can tell me you want wealth, and I can tell you I want wealth. We want the same things, yes, but the reasons behind it is different. You might want wealth because you maybe witnessed your mom struggle and you figure, boy, when I get older, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And then I might want wealth because I figure, well, I just feel like I deserve to be the rich auntie. I don't have no reason other than,
definitely.
I want that lifestyle I see on social media. This is why I want to be rich. So
I believe,
although on the surface, on paper, both of us say we want wealth, but what drives us is different. So I help you understand and connect to what drives you. So in moments where you maybe have difficulties or life is going to keep life in, at least you don't get too swayed because, well, your why is to your forefront. So when the setback happens, you remember, okay, I want this because I remember how my mom had it, and I know this is what keeps me going, and obstacles will come, but I am able to overcome it. So we build that mental resilience.
So Sarah, how do you know when the client has reached the climax? Have you you did a good job, your journey is done with this client, or you'll just continue taking my money? How do you know to pull the plug? Okay, Sharmark is ready to go and face the world.
It's a taking the money comment.
Hey, you can life coach me until you tell me to a footballer, and then
actually, no, you see, for me, I actually do free consultations as a first part. So I allow for us to get onto a call. It's usually between 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it even runs further if I don't have a follow-up client.
Okay.
Just so that I can understand
and connect
your
with the
issues
client.
and connect. So if it's a case of something that I cannot help you with, up to the forefront, I'm gonna let you know I cannot help you.
Oh, I like that.
So I don't waste
Because
your time or my
consultations are
time.
important.
Yes. So it gives me an understanding, and I also have coaching programs. And even if I have the coaching program, it's not just getting you into the program. I do the consultations to understand your needs so I can tweak the program so you can get the best out of it.
Oh,
So the
nice.
programs run for like 7 weeks. And the climax hits for everybody different. I have clients within the middle of the program who's already feeling like they're unstoppable.
Wow, that's good.
And they're 3-4 weeks in.
Yeah. So, Sarah, if somebody's viewing right now and they want to get in touch with you and basically what you're saying connects with them, how do they get in touch with you? What is your social media handle?
Yes, so they could get me on WhatsApp 1758-732-1600, and they could get me on Instagram at Sarah Chronicles, and they could get me on Facebook, Sarah Joseph.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So do you have a mixture of clients, male, female,
Yes,
teenagers?
I do both male and female. I don't get the male frequently because most of them, they would start, and then society stigma is to man up, and men don't have feelings, but men do have
Of course
struggles.
they have men feelings. Some men cry in secret and stuff like that. You have feelings because we're human.
I'm here to help everybody, adolescents, men and women.
Okay, nice. In terms of stuff like, does a life coach help persons to deal with persons that's in dealing with? I find lately, for me, I realize a lot of people, they grow and then they love their parents. Most people love their parents, a good percentage. But when they get into dementia and all of those things that elderly people go through, I think they don't know how to deal with it. So they just take you like a bag of dirty clothes and drop you at the different institution they have for the old person, the older persons. And some persons don't look back. They just drop the money. They don't look back. They don't connect. And I think like the old people say, "Shag, we will kill you." But how does a life coach, can a life coach help somebody deal with that kind of thing? Because I think sometimes they don't know how to deal with it because it's different. You was enjoying your mother in her 50s, I think. But when she reached in her 60s and her 70s, it's like, this is not my mom, because the person can remember, and some of them swear a lot and they say so many different things.
So it could be tied to just the emotional baggage that comes with seeing that change, that they cannot actually process that, so they prefer somebody else to deal with it. It can also be the childhood and the relationship with the parents. And they figure, well, you were not there for me for all those times, and sometimes, so you figure, well, then,
Funny, Sarah, sorry for cutting you short. It's funny you say that, and I just felt something past me, because I actually told my sister that. I say you need to connect with your children, because children have a thing. Me, guys, I have nothing to do with that woman.
Yes.
I have nothing to do with that man. Now, when you hear them say that, I hate people to tell people, don't say that. Because there's a reason behind every action. You understand? So I believe as parents, it's your duty, and you reap the benefits as you get older.
Yes.
Because some people, since they're so caring, they add a piece and an extra wing in the house for their parents. They get a caretaker. They connect. Because what I realize as people get older, they like, you have to say the same thing over, because they can't go to town again. They just want the little soups.
Conversation,
what happens in town and stuff like that. So when you said that part about maybe the way the parents treated them when they was younger, as the parents get older, they maybe think they didn't owe the parents that.
Yes. So that can also,
because I think it's one thing that's really affecting society. So I was just wondering, there's a kind of life coach helping people deal with that, the adjustments as parents get older.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes. So, Sarah, I see you have that big ring on your finger. Let's go back to the ring. So since you're married, Sarah, as a life coach, do they help persons in marriage and stuff like that? Because I think when you get married, some people get married, but I don't think they can deal with the adjustment.
Well, you see, I don't think that they should have an adjustment, because
it's the same. You're the same person.
I am recently married, and it still feels like we're dating. Sometimes I just forget, although the ring heavy, I just forget that.
Ain't a backo to carry that ring.
I sometimes forget because he still chases me the same way. He still takes me on dates. He still does the flowers. He still goes to the supermarket, sees something that I like, buys my favorite snack just because.
I like
I
that.
talk about I have a good day, so I already know. I talk about I'm here with you today. I know when I
Yes,
get
yeah.
home, I'm going to get a
Yeah,
treat.
yes, yeah.
Yes,
I
because
like
that's what
that.
he does.
I like that. Okay. So, do you ever get any clients that maybe
I
need
haven't.
some
I
direction in
don't
that area?
focus on relationships in general, but
Mm-hmm.
I do focus on the
The
individuals. So
individuals.
because I feel like each person have their own baggage, and
Yes.
sometimes you do a lot of projection.
Mm-hmm.
So you project your issues on me, and then we all of a sudden always quarreling and we having these issues. I haven't processed on my own. And you can be in a relationship and the person envies your success.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of individual issues, I think, and then you can work together.
Sarah, thank you so much for
You're
being here.
welcome.
Before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to leave with us before we wrap up?
I would like everybody to know that there is no such thing as being behind in life. Everyone has their own path. To be behind means that everybody's walking the same path. Nobody's walking the same path as you because nobody has your thoughts, your feelings, or your experiences. So go out today and be great because you are the CEO of your life.
You sound like a real life coach there, my girl. You hate it. Yes, this is Sarah Joseph, people. I like it. Very inspirational, Sarah. I try to give you the questions, but I say you come in strong and strong and strong. So you know what you're about, my girl. Thank you so much
Yes,
for
it was a
coming. It was a
pleasure.
pleasure. Yes. Thank you, Senisha. Catch you on Sunday.